What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another TickerFee video and welcome to the TickerFee family. As always, I always like to talk about what's the latest news, and so today we're going to be talking about the ticker symbol GSAT, or Global Stars. And so what we're going to be talking about specifically is going to be their financial results. There was a few things that I was reading that I wanted to point out and see what your thoughts were, and then we'll finish this video off with the chart analysis. For those that have been supporting me so far, I really do appreciate it. It means a lot. And if this is your first time to the channel, welcome. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So if you're tuning in for the first time, or if this is your first time to my channel, what I wanted to point out is if you actually look through, I've got quite a few different companies that I like to talk about on the regular basis. I post a video every single day, sometimes twice a day. And so if there's any type of stocks that you're interested in, or you want to learn, something new about one of these companies, or what the latest information is, I wanted to point this out. That way you kind of understand. Like, for example, you've got a lot of TRCH and MMATF, right? And so what's going on that? What's going on with the merger? What's the latest update? Or if you look over here, you'll see STPK. I mean, there's quite a few different stocks that I like to talk about. And, if there's something new, or if there is a stock that you would particularly would like for me to talk about that I haven't on my channel, just let me know. But I wanted to point this out. That way that there are so many stocks out there, and there's a lot of opportunity for so many things in the market. And so you can buy, sell, trade, long-term, short-term options, whatever that is. If you're trying to do the short squeeze or whatever the case is, there's so much to talk about and so much to show. And so I wanted to point these things out because, again, I really have a huge passion on talking about these stocks. I enjoy talking about the companies just in general, and so I wanted just to point this out. That way what's going on, and that way you can always be up to date. So let's keep this rolling. Okay, so if you've never heard of Globalstar or Globalstar Satellite Technology, what they are is a leading provider of satellite solutions for businesses as well as individuals, offering customizable satellite commercial solutions. Okay, so what they do is they connect with mobile and field personnel, fleet asset tracking, equipment monitoring, and enabling a business efficiencies beyond cellular. So they're in different industries, right? So as you can see, you've got transportation, energy, construction, commercial, maritime, right? Agriculture, forestry. They're in all these sectors. So great foundation, great company. So I wanted to point that out. So if you've never heard of them, at least you can be caught up and know a little bit of summary about this company. Okay, so when you're looking at the chart, you got to remember some of the catalysts, right? So that's going to be some of the numbers, that's going to be some of the percentages, the net loss income, the liquidity, all these factors taking place, their sales, whatever the case is. So what I want to do is bring back about a month, right? Let's look at those 12 months that ended December 31st, 2020 while you're looking at that chart, okay? So with that being said, they had the total revenue was increased by 1% to 128.5 million from 127.8, which was in 2019. Now, with that being said, the increases in total revenue was driven by higher service revenue of 3.7 million, offset by a lower revenue generated from subscriber equipment sales of 3 million. Now, with that being said, again, you got to look at the chart and remember those numbers. So loss from operations improved by 8.8 million, or 13% during the 2020 due to 8.1 million decrease in operating expenses and a 0.7 million increase in total revenues. All right. So again, looking at the net loss income, there was 109.6 million for 2020 compared to the net income of 11.4 million. So when you're looking at the chart and you see this trend line and you expand it and you start looking at the volume, what you want to look at is going to go from the end of the year 2020 and these past 3 months, right? So if you're looking at the trend line, currently you're looking at a support and a resistance of roughly $1.20, $1.30, And again, you had a high of 298. So you see what range we're in. But the most volume we've had currently is going to be back in February the 10th. Then you scroll all the way down and you'll be able to see that currently there's not near as much volume. So you're looking at roughly, I would say, 9 million buys and trades versus just here in February the 10th there was 309 million. So clearly when you're looking at it and you're looking at those bodies and you're seeing those results, clearly there's some indicators. And so again, what we want to see is, you know, from their revenues of 2020 to closer to the third quarter, fourth quarter, we want to see a change. We want to see those sales go up, especially for what happened this past prior year. So again, the adjusted EBITDA increased by 12% to 42.2 million in 2020, due primarily to a 2.6 million decrease in total revenues and a 7 million decrease in operating expenses or non-reoccurring items. So keep that in mind. Now, if you don't know what that stands for, it's earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. So a company's earnings before taxes, depreciation, and whatnot is an accounting measure calculated using a company's earnings before these catalysts are taking place, right? So before they are subtracted as a proxy for a company's current operating profitability. So again, looking at this chart, knowing what's going on, you got to keep in mind, you know, the type of service that they have. Again, they will have an ROI, that reoccurring residuals due to the type of services that they have, and they're in so many sectors like I mentioned earlier. So that's not going to go away, and you still need that satellite communication, especially when you're in these remote areas. And just the United States itself, there are a lot of remote areas. So you've got 18-wheelers that are constantly bringing commodities from point A to point B, which is good for this company because they need those sources. They need that communication. So that's never going to go away. And so with that technology, it can be able to be used. And so we're going to continue to get catalysts. We're going to continue to get, you know, these marks go up, right? So our support should continue to grow. So keep that in mind. But what I want to know is, do you own this stock? Have you thought about owning it? Is this your first time hearing about this stock? Leave a comment down below. I'm really curious. Now, again, when you're looking at the bodies and then you see the red and the green, right? Most people know green is good, red not so much. But what that means is what it opened up at, it closed higher than what it opened at, right? And then it's vice versa. So then you see these wicks, right? Those are going to be those intraday tracking lines, right? So you've got it below and above. Again, that's going to be the buys and the sells, not vice versa. But when I'm looking at this, and after they've announced their 2020 financials, I mean, there's not as much going on. As you can see, the latest news was the Globestar announces the completion of a second lien warrant exercise. Before that, it was March the 9th. Globestar shares spike higher. Traders circulate light reading report. Globestar's parent company slowly stirs 5G assets. So there's a little bit of gap there, but I'm trying to close that gap. So hopefully this video had brought some added value. I'm real strong on this. I've got some skin in the game, and so I need to know what's going on constantly. So I have a huge passion about it, but I really do enjoy talking about it as well. And so again, leave a comment down below on what your thoughts are, you know, what you might have heard, whatever the case is. Again, I really do appreciate you tuning in and listening to this video. It means a lot. And with that being said, welcome to the Ticker Feed family.